Ars and his subordinates meet up with Lumiere and begin their plan to rescue Rupert's wife, as Ars reveals he doesn't have any plan to save her or attack the Rolta castle. A warrior named Clement Maitre then arrives to help. He is the leader of a company consisting of combat mercenaries that has a 100% success rate on any mission, according to Reitz. Ars thanks Clement for allying with them, but Clement corrects him by explaining he and his subordinates are neutral in this war, and they only work for money. So whatever dangerous job they have, they can leave it to them. The rescue plan is then put into motion. Meanwhile, at Rolto Castle, Lord Jean assumes that he is on the verge of victory. Suddenly, he receives a blood-stained letter from Rupert that has a warning written on it about Ars's forces targeting Rolto, and that a mage is helping them. Completely believing its every single word, Jean begins preparing for the battle. The next day, Rupert insists on joining the battle with Ars, but he stops him. Because it will result in his betrayal getting exposed, and in case they lose this war, then Rupert will be killed. So he wants him to ally with them only if they win this battle and save his wife. The battle between Ars and Rolto's army then begins. Dan, the leader of the enemy army, proves to be a strong fighter. Meanwhile, at the Rolto castle, the hostage women get worried about this battle. Suddenly, a soldier comes and tells them to relocate to a different place, but then he is knocked out by Pham and his subordinates. This increases their anxiety as they think of him as an enemy, but Pham then explains that he is here to save and return them to their families. At this point, Ars's army retreats with the enemy soldiers in pursuit, but Jean discovers that the retreat is a ruse and joins the fight. A flashback then reveals that Jean killed his own father along with his family, who had a bounty on them, and presented it to the Duke, who raised his rank to a noble. At present, Dan and Jean catch up with Ars's army and begins killing their soldiers. Deciding not to ask Clement for help, Ars opts to continue with their original plan. Suddenly, Dan surprises Ars with an attack, but luckily Reitz saves him and fights off Dan. Then Ars notice incoming enemy soldiers from the front and is about to lose hope. But surprisingly, they attack the other enemy soldiers instead of Ars's army. The soldiers then remove their mask and reveal themselves to be Rupert and his soldiers who have come to help. Deciding to retreat first and report Rupert's betrayal, Dan leaves before shooting an arrow on Rupert. Fortunately, his wound is not deep. When Ars asks why he came even when he stopped him, Rupert says that in this war, people are becoming desperate enough to not see anyone else except themselves. So when he saw Ars saying those selfless words, he decided to ally with him instantly. While they rejoice over their new alliance, Dan orders the hostages to be killed immediately. But his soldier discovers that they have escaped, and realizing that there are spies in the castle, a manhunt is initiated for them.